Now we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty of what Indians are all about.
I still say we Indian people are believers in the truth. This is the way of life that was given to your people. You're born an Indian, you're going to die an Indian. Indianness is a good life. You're facing an Indian this afternoon.
Good Saturday afternoon out there, everyone. Welcome to your number one source for Native American television news. It is Mvskoke Vision. I am your host, Jason Salzman, here in the Mvskoke Media Studios as we get ready for this week. And as you'll notice, I dropped off my co-hosts. They're back in school, but I want to thank my daughters for being with me last week. I know everybody probably got a kick out of that, and I just love those girls, and they're a lot of fun, as you can tell. Keep me on my feet, keep me on my toes. And really, ironically now, this week is the week of the young child nationally. And we have lots of great child care facilities around Mvskoke Creek Nation, a lot of child care educational facilities with our Head Starts. And with that being said, Week of the Young Child was kicked off with a parade through downtown Altmulgee. And we hope that you enjoyed the scenes from the Week of the Young Child parade here in the capital city this week.
This is a proclamation by the Principal Chief of Mvskoke Creek Nation declaring April 16th through the 20th, 2018 as Week of the Young Child. Whereas the Mvskoke Creek Nation is blessed by its population of young children whom are an integral and aspiring part of our culture and the future of the Mvskoke Creek Nation, and whereas the Mvskoke Creek Nation recognizes the rights and needs of young children, their families, and the early childhood programs and services that are necessary to meet those needs. And whereas the Mvskoke Creek Nation acknowledges that the early childhood years may be the best foundation for children's success in school and later in life, and the Week of the Young Child, April 16th through the 20th, 2018, is held each year to honor young children and thank early childhood teachers and those who make a difference in the lives of young children. And whereas the Mvskoke Creek Nation citizens can help create a better and promising future for the young children of our nation. Be it resolved that I, James R. Floyd, Principal Chief of the Mvskoke Creek Nation, hereby proclaim April 16th to the 20th, 2018 as Week of the Young Child of the Mvskoke Creek Nation.
All right, I want to thank everybody for making it a big time out there at the parade in Okmulgee. Let's move on to our next story, and it brings us to our 4-H coordinator here at Mvskoke Creek Nation. Not a lot of people know we have one of those, or a 4-H program, Billy Haltom. And Billy has been recognized with the highest honor that Oklahoma FFA gives out.
I'm actually going to receive the honorary state FFA degree, which is the highest award given by the Oklahoma FFA Association. So I'm really pretty excited. It's a big deal. But the first thing I would like to say is I'm really receiving it on behalf of the Creek Nation. I realize I'm the one going across the stage, but I'm representing the Creek Nation in the Agriculture Youth Program, and I want everyone to know that I'm honored to receive it, but I want people to also know that I'm receiving it on behalf of the Creek Nation and the people of the Creek Nation. I think, I called a couple of people when I got the letter, and I thought, I was really shocked. And they said, well, listen, you're really deserving for what we have done. I've been here for 5 years, and I think what they're recognizing is that we have really put our best foot forward in helping the agriculture youth that are Creek and are within the boundaries of the Creek Nation. Our enrollment, when I took this program over 5 years ago, we had about 60 active members. Well, we have a little over 200 to this day. And as many of them are FFA students as they are 4-H students. And I think they just see the progress that we've made in helping those individuals participate, because our job really is to help them participate in their local FFA program or their local 4-H program. And we help them from the day one. We help them to purchase a livestock project. We help them go to leadership camps. And I think that's what the award is about, is seeing the self-promotion that we have done to help our Native youth in those areas. Well, we're way more than just agriculture, and I think if you talk to big corporations in the state of Oklahoma, they look for kids that come from FFA and 4-H backgrounds, because they know that those kids have been taught good work ethic, they're dependable, they're reliable, they can look you in the eye and shake your hand, and today that doesn't sound like much, but it's a big step in an age where most kids spend 80% of their time on their phone, so for them to have to be able to communicate verbally well, there's a lot of leadership involved in it, there's a lot of public speaking involved in it, and those are all things that, despite what career options those kids go into, are going to help them for the rest of their life.
And our congratulations to Mr. Haltom once again. Great honor and a great program he runs here at Mvskoke Creek Nation, getting a lot more involved in agricultural things as well as a source of economic income for the tribe. So keep an eye on that. We definitely have that on MvskokeMedia.com too. Want to point you in that direction for all of our great coverage. Well, A couple weeks ago, we had you some archive on here from the vault. We go back into our archive material that's been here at Mvskoke Creek Nation, was produced in years past. And when we put that forth, it's really, you know, every time, it never fails, we get some people that call up and go, oh man, I saw myself, or I know somebody from then, or I was a part of making that production come to life. I've talked to different elders that were taking part in some of these older productions. George Kozer comes to mind, and individuals like that. But the next one we want to show you is, it is called Broken Journey. And this one, I'm not sure of the date. So somebody out there, if you check it out, might want to call us up and let us know what year this actually came from. But Broken Journey is our next segment in our From the Vault series of archive material.
It can be a surprisingly short journey from drinking with friends on a Saturday night to a 20-year sentence in the state pen. Statistics show a grim connection between alcohol, drugs, and Native American imprisonment. The toll can be heavy, the loss in human potential enormous. Many Indian youth end up in treatment centers, institutions, and hospitals. Those who end up behind bars see everything they could have been disappear with the closing of the prison door. There are 27 correctional facilities in the state of Oklahoma, but there's only one maximum security prison known as Big Mac in McAllister. It houses hardcore, high-risk criminals. As 39-year-old Indian inmate Richard Walker has experienced, prison is a grim and frightening place. Richard is a 5-time loser, serving 5 consecutive sentences in Big Mac for burglary.
Well, to begin with, I'm not blaming nobody else but myself. And because I'm the one that went out and got in trouble. And I don't know if this has anything to do with it or not, but I was 5 years old when my father passed away. He died of a heart attack back in '52. And when I was being brought up, it was just my mother. I had 4 sisters and 1 brother, and I'd do what I want and just get away with a lot of stuff, and I was spoiled. I was a baby of a family, and I felt I was spoiled. I'd get my way, and then I started drinking beer when I was about 9. And my grandfather and uncle, they'd drink all the time, so I'd be with them, and I'd sit on their lap and just start drinking. That's where I started drinking beer. Then, as I was still, growing up, I just started liking beer and started drinking. And when I was a teenager, I started drinking again, and that was just my downfall. That's my weakness. That was my weakness. I'd be alcohol. Every time I get in trouble, it was alcohol related. Every time, every single last time. And just things got from worse to worse, and that's been my downfall. Just every time I'd get in trouble, I'd hit the bottle first and then go out. Probably didn't realize what I was doing. Vaguely remember, but I'd get in trouble. And next thing you know, I'd commit a felony, and they'd file charges on me, I go to court. There were some young inmates just come in here. Okay, they get with people that are maybe the big shots, the high rollers or whatever, and because they want to be with somebody that'll, you know, help them out or something. Watch out on because they're scared. They won't admit it, but they're scared. All right, and they get involved with different things. All kinds of things in prison. They get involved with homosexuality, beer drinking, gambling, debts, and everything. They get involved with that. But deep down inside, they don't want to get involved. But they do because they don't want to get stabbed. They don't want to get beat up. They don't want to go to protection. That's why they're involved. Since I've been locked up, the majority of my time has been here in OSP, McAllister. And I've seen senseless killings. I've seen a guy get killed over a pack of cigarettes. I've seen a guy get killed just over a argument, over a basketball game out there where they go out and play among each other. It's so that's why every day you wake up and get out of your cell, you gotta, the way I look at it, the way I do, I just, you know, I'm fixing to leave my cell. And I go down there and say, well, I'm gonna watch my step every day, and I do. But I've seen guys get killed because they were too drunk. They pick a fight, and anymore, if you start a fight in here, you have to kill the guy. Very seldom you'll see two guys that got in a fight go talk it over. They separate them. Once they get a chance to creep on them or get them, they'll kill them. But it's just, it's possible every day. A guy can get killed every day. Very possible.
"24-year-old David Harjo is serving a 20-year sentence in the pen for robbery. Though his journey took a different course, David's destination was the same as Richard's, behind bars.
It's my second time in the joint. I done a prior offense of robbery by force a few years ago, about 6 years ago. And, I got about 4 years done on this one. You know, I guess I was always a little wild, you know. Mom and Dad, they're Christians, you know, and they'd always tell us about, you know, Christian life and about all this, and but it never sunk into my head. I was always where I wanted to do things like average teenager want to do this and, you know, do that, but I always wanted to be a little bit more than that, you know, like I want to do things my way, and I don't want to be grounded, and I don't want to do this, and because I don't want nobody tell me what to do, you know. And they tried their best to teach me that, but I just want to be my own person, and so I got involved my own way of doing things, and it eventually led to, you know, further and further, and finally in here. You know. I think about a lot of things, like, you know, I'll be doing back here. Like, I've got 2 daughters out there now, and I could be out there raising them, but you know, just one of them things where, you know, yeah, I think a lot about that. But then, you know, it kind of bothers me when I think about that, so I try not to, but it's hard not to, you know. But yeah, I think about a lot of things I could be doing out there, but I don't got nobody blaming myself, really, and I just got to take it from here. You know? I used to drink whiskey and everything, boy, and I never did take dope very much, but a couple of my buddies turned me on to some stuff. When I get all wild and stuff, and one time I went to this bar, man, and I busted this dude in the face, man, because I didn't like him, and I didn't know that till the next day. You know, they told me, and I said, well, he must have done something to me to try to justify my actions, but they said, well, the guy didn't do nothing. And I said, well, he must have, you know, because you know, when you're drunk and all high and all, you just really feel good. I know I used to get out of it, man. You know, I used to do stuff that I don't even remember doing, man. And that just, I mean, that was all part of the, you know, where I was growing up. And just, I don't know, it just affected me, and the alcohol and all this, man. It just, a lot of my decisions, man, when I was kind of wild, it affected me a lot. You know, I'd act irrationally. I always heard stories about the joint and everything, and was going to Lexington, you know, and the receiving center is, and I had long hair then. and I didn't want to cut my hair. And I was in line, and I was thinking, man, I ain't gonna cut my hair. And but the inmate was a barber, you know. I thought it was a police barber, but it was an inmate. He said, "You're next," and I said, "Nah, I can't handle this, man." And they said, "Well, you're gonna have to cut it, or the guards will cut it for you, however you want to do it." And I said, "Ain't nobody gonna cut my hair." And finally, this other inmate said, "Well, you better do it, man. Well, you got to, do it, cut it the easy way, or they do it the hard way." So I said, all right. But I sat up on that barber chair like, "Hey, all right, man. It's gonna take the police to cut my hair, so I'll go ahead and I try to be all tough about it, But they cut my hair and everything, and the whole feeling of it didn't sink in until I was in my cell that night, and I was thinking, man, I'm here in the joint, man. I had a number and everything. Back then they call you by your number. Me and 3 other dudes and buddies, we got drunk and I whipped this one dude over here by the rotunda. Was coming out of mess hall, and a partner fired him up, man. And these key men didn't see nothing. Right away they said, I guess naturally they thought Indians get drunk and they was troublemakers. Right away that head guard said, the Indians done it, Boy, we went up to full run up there, and everybody locked down. They was locking everybody down, and they tried to call us out here, but we wouldn't come out here, and everybody locked down except us Indians. We was drunk, and we broke off some broom handles and stuff, and we put our headbands on and stuff. And we said, "Let's come on with it," And they come in from the front and come in from the back, and they had riot helmets on and everything, man. I ain't never seen that many police in all my life, man. They come in from the front and the back. They had a front leading the mattress, the one coming in from the front. When they were swinging them sticks, and from the back they was coming in, man. And that leader of it from the back had his shield up, and he was fixing to lay a good one on my head. Well, he was back to that club like that. When I laid into him, hit him in the mouth, and I started fighting. We just all got down with it, boy. And they whooped the hell out of us, man. They had us down and put leg irons and handcuffs on us, and was kicking on us, and took us out of rotunda, and beat us up pretty good, and took us out to the infirmary. One day, man, I just felt so tired, man. And I just got in my cell and got down on my knees, and I said, "Lord," I said, "it's getting heavy, man. It's getting heavy, man." I said, I can't handle this no more. I said, "I'm tired of lockup." And I said, "I can't handle it no more, man." I said, "I'm just, help me, I just threw up my arms, man. I said, I give up, Well, right then, it seemed like, man, just a burden lifted off, man. I felt real good, feeling, man. And I said, "Praise the Lord, man." I was in my cell, man. I said, "Praise the Lord, man." Then I looked at my door to see if no guard was passing by and see me, So I said, Then I said, "Well, what?" I said, "I feel great." I was thinking to myself, "I feel great, man."
Captain Bob Bryant, who has been with the state penitentiary system for 10 years, knows firsthand the tense, explosive atmosphere produced by long-term confinement.
Well, I guess one of the worst things I've seen here at OSP was my first 2 weeks as an officer here. I was a correctional officer cadet trainee, and the first inmate that I saw killed was an Indian inmate that had been dead for probably 2 or 3 hours, that had already been stiff, his throat had been slashed. And it's something that, it was awful, kind of hard for me to put out of my mind, because it was the first time I'd seen anybody killed, and it had to be an Indian, and that just struck home with me because he was an Indian. Most of our Indian inmates are in here for robbery, burglary, small petty crimes like that. We do have a couple on death row. The Indian inmates here, that's one reason we tried to form the Indian Club. Give them something to do, give them something to join together. It gives them a chance to, some of them, that's their form of religion. They practice, they grew up around powwow, stomping grounds, and that's, that we do have church services here where they can, they can go to church. I find that most of the Indian population here is from the Baptist background. They either went to a Baptist church or their families were Baptist. When you come into the penitentiary, especially if you're a young Indian, That's something that you're going to have to face is homosexuality. Whether you want to be or not, you may be forced into that situation in order to save your life. A lot of Indians probably on the street or in any inmate wouldn't be that way, but it's forced upon him. It's something he has to do for his own protection. You know, he wants to live, so he'll do anything. But it's a problem that we always contend with here. But it's still here. It's something that we can't totally stop. I've seen a lot of Indians come and go from this institution, and a lot of them are repeat offenders. So there's something somewhere that we're not doing right because they keep coming back, and that's the biggest problem I see here is the Indian populations. Ones I see leave within a year or 2 years, they're back. And most of them tell me a big part of their problem is they get out on the street. They don't have no skills, no education, no training. They can't find a job, so the first thing they do is they go rob or steal to make money. And they get caught, they're back in the penitentiary again. And like I say, a lot of them are repeat offenders, so they'll end up with doing 20, 30 years for maybe a real small burglary because they've got that after former label on them then. You got a lot of young Indian inmates in the institution, but most of them that are young that come in this institution are high school dropouts. You know, they didn't finish school, they didn't have nothing to do. They run around, start drinking and getting on drugs, and first thing you know, they're in trouble, and they end up in an institution. And of course, this being a maximum security institution, this institution here has got the worst of the crop. You know, this is it right here. It's at OSP. But a lot of times, it seems like when an Indian inmate gets out of the penitentiary, he's kind of on his own. He gets out of the penitentiary and he goes back to his family, back home to the same background that he got in trouble in. He goes back to the same town that he come from, because that's where, if an Indian inmate gets out here and he's from McAllister, usually he stays in McAllister. He gets out on the street and he runs around with the same.
Well, that's going to do it for another episode of Mvskoke Vision. Want to remind you all out there, keep visiting our social media sites. Keep going to our YouTube channel. Click the red subscribe button. You'll get all of our uploads as we upload them. Right there on your phone, your tablet, your laptop, anything on your YouTube channel. You'll be able to enjoy our content on demand, and you can watch old, as we said, archive footage there. We've got our On the Vaults on there, or From the Vaults on there. And we also got all of the stuff that you see here on Mvskoke Vision right there, plus some exclusive online content that comes from MvskokeMedia.com. Keep visiting the website. Keep reading the Mvskoke News. For Jared Moore, I'm Jason Salzman, all the good people here at Mvskoke Vision. You guys make it a good week, and we'll see you next time.